Hey guys, Sam here from Steed Cycles. Today we have the all-new Santa Cruz Hightower 4 here. Similar to the Bronson that we looked at just a few weeks ago, the Hightower has had a few changes. Santa Cruz have made changes to the geometry, the suspension, the aesthetics, and a few other things as well. The most obvious change we see here is the shock has moved down and forwards into the frame to allow for the suspension kinematic that Santa Cruz wanted to achieve. But we can see that the frame looks kind of a little bit longer, lower, more purposeful. The big news also is that it's got more travel. So the Hightower 4 has 150 mil travel out back, 160 mil out front. That is 10 mil more on the front, 5 mil more on the back. So it's kind of creeping into Enduro territory. It's getting towards the Mega Tower. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Mega Tower and the Tallboy also bump up in travel at some point, but we'll see. I'm just kind of conjecture at this point. Suspension, as I mentioned, Santa Cruz wanted to move that lower link down and forward closer to the bottom bracket. Now, what that's doing is it's achieving a certain anti-squat profile, similar to what they did with the Bronson. Santa Cruz are actually dialing in less anti-squat. Now, anti-squat means that the suspension firms up a certain amount while pedaling. So the more anti-squat, the more it firms up while you pedal. That also means that when you're descending and bumps are hitting the rear wheel, that has an effect on the pedals and what's called pedal kickback. So by dialing in less anti-squat, we've got a more sensitive, supple ride on the climb. We've got less pedal kickback on the descents. So it should make for an overall more composed, more plush ride feel. They're kind of going for a more bottomless travel kind of feel. I did get to ride the Bronson pretty recently, and while it does have less anti-squat, it still has a very similar playful ride feel, but also a little bit more composed. So I'm expecting the Hightower not to feel super different to the old one, but a little bit more plush, a little bit more travel, a little bit more hard hitting, but still overall the kind of all-around trail bike that we know and love. It still sits on 29-inch wheels, front and rear. We've still got a threaded bottom bracket. We've still got the glove box in-frame storage. It's still boost axles, still post-mount 180 on the back. It's still got all the sensible features that we like about the Santa Cruz Hightower. Geometry has changed though. Geometry is longer, slacker, so we're down to 63.8 degrees in the head tube angle. Seat tube is about 78 degrees, so that's pushing the rider forwards a little bit just to kind of keep that front wheel weighted while climbing, give a comfortable seated climbing position. The chainstays have grown a little bit to about 440. Interestingly, the chainstays are actually shorter than the Bronson. This is because the weight bias on the rear wheel kind of pushes you back, so the back end needed to grow to keep the rider forwards. Now, this wasn't the case on the Hightower since it's a 29-inch wheel. That chainstay was already pretty good length, so weight is pretty balanced between the two wheels. The reach is going to about 480 on a size large. That's going to stretch out the cockpit just a little bit. It's going to give a little bit more confidence and stability at speed. That paired with the slacker head tube angle and the slightly longer chainstay is just going to make this a more composed bike on faster, rougher trails, which is kind of the overall thing that Santa Cruz are going for with the extra travel, slacker geo, the lower anti-squat numbers. It's going to be a more composed descender. In terms of options, we have frame sizes from small to 2XL. We have C and CC frame options. We have two colors. This is matte deep purple you see here. It's really cool. There's also a gloss green that looks great as well. Spec-wise, we've got about what you'd usually expect from the Santa Cruz bikes, from the base level CR spec all the way up to a CCXX Axis Reserve. The one we're looking at today is the GX Axis spec, so it's a C frame. It comes with Fox Performance Elite suspension, front and rear, it's a 36 and a Flow X shock. We've got SRAM's GX transmission drivetrain with SRAM Maven brakes. The Mavens come on all transmission specs, which is awesome. We've got carbon handlebar, we've got a one-up dropper, which we love. We've got alloy wheels on DT Swiss 370 hubs. The GX Axis is a great all-around spec, but obviously there's higher and lower depending on what you can afford, what you want. Overall, I think the Hightower is going to be a great all-around trail bike. It's going to be the kind of bike that you can pick for all-day epics, for big kind of gnarly enduro descents. You do a little bit of bike park in it. It's maybe not going to be the bike that you want to take to the bike park every day, and likewise, you probably don't want to enter any cross-country races on it. but it's that great middle ground. You can choose it for pretty much anything and know that you're going to be safe, you're going to be okay, you're going to have a good time. And that's why we love the Hightower. You can ride pretty much anything on it. And for a lot of people here, it's our go-to bike. So yeah, head down to the store, come check this one out, come take it for a test ride, see what you think. Or head to our website, you can read a little bit more there. Thanks for tuning in, see you on the trails.